Hello friends, welcome back to yet another episode of Current Affairs Weekend Updates by Raju Notes. This week we will do the current affairs from 8th of January to 15th of January 2022. Thank you for staying with me. Let's quickly see what are the events that happened this week. A new medical word now coming into play, which is called as Delta Cron. Well, this is a strain of a COVID-19 that combines the Delta and the Omicron virus, and this was found in Cyprus. And the discovery was named as Delta Cron due to the identification of Omicron-like genetic signatures within the Delta genome. Well, this is going to be a very deadly one because we know that Delta virus or the Delta strain was more lethal, whereas the Omicron was not lethal but had super spreadability or transmittability. So here is a new variation or the mutation taking place as the Delta Cron. Probably we will now, after Omicron, we will be hearing this Delta Cron. So I must say that these pandemics I think are nowhere to go in near future. So please have a double mask, sanitize your hands, and as far as possible maintain social distance, and please avoid going outside. India's own made in India aircraft carrier Vikrant has set trials for the third time ahead of its schedule. And we all know that Vikrant had undergone sea trials in the August and October-November last year. And this was put to sea to test many of its capabilities. That was done. It came back, and it was now put to the third sea trials, which it is presently going on. Vikrant has been built in the state-owned Cochin Shipyard Limited. With Vikrant, after its complete sea trials, once it puts itself onto the sea, then it will be a force multiplier for the Indian Armed Forces. A miracle or a medical breakthrough, I must say, that a pig's heart was transplanted to a US man after his failing heart condition. This gentleman had a very irregular heartbeat, and he was ineligible for most of the human hearts, and he was a case of a sure shot death. So the doctors took a chance, and they transplanted the heart of a pig to this gentleman, and it was a very successful transplantation happening. And he has today, I think, is the 10th day that this gentleman has survived with this heart, and this has opened a Pandora of opportunities for people who are ailing with such ailments. Well, because there are not enough donors available, and it is, even if it is available, there is a huge list of potential recipients. So this breakthrough will help a lot of people and to get a new lease of life. Well, generally, when you transplant any organ from any other species, like in this case, the human body rejects that organ because it sees as an external body and it sees it as an external threat. Therefore, before the heart was transplanted to this gentleman, the pig's genetic structure was modified so that it is accepted by the human body, and that is why this transplantation is a major breakthrough in the medical field. And I hope this will create a lot of I must say good health around with this technology. The Sri Lankan Transport Minister had thanked India for the line of credit what India had offered very recently, which I covered about 2 episodes back, and which above about $570 million grant which India had given. Sri Lanka has now launched a luxury train service from its capital city Colombo to Jaffna, and this luxury service will help better economy and better rather I must say a mood into the Sri Lankan populace. A very good news coming in. India has successfully test fired the advanced sea-to-sea variant of the Brahmos supersonic cruise missile from its Indian naval ship Visakhapatnam, and this credit goes to the DRDO. We know that Brahmos is a joint venture between India and Russia, and the missile had hit the designated target ship precisely. The tested missile has a range of about 350 to 400 kilometers, and with this test, navies are all set to take this weapon as a potential weapon to intercept and destroy any other naval fleet. Android has now come up with a new version, Android 13, and Google is planning to add a feature in this Android 13 that will allow apps to transfer media to a nearby device just with a tap. And it says that they have given a term of TTT, that is triple T, and wherein it stands for tap to transfer. Probably like what you are hearing new jargons every day in day-to-day life, like when you want some document, you just call up your friend and say, just send me that document on WhatsApp. Probably after a few months or so, you will be using triple T, and you would just call up a friend and say, please triple T me the document. That is tap to transfer. Let's see how this will help the users. Please remember this name now. It will be Mr. S. Somanath. He will be the new ISRO Chairman, and he will replace Mr. K. Sivan, who has been the ISRO chief till now. Mr. Somnath is a rocket scientist who was serving in Vikram Sarabhai Space Center as a director, and now he will take over the ISRO as a new chairman. Mr. Somnath is alumni of TKM College of Engineering in Kollam, and he did his masters in aerospace engineering from IISc Bengaluru. He was instrumental in integration of the polar satellite launch vehicles during the early phases, and also he played a very key role in the geostationary launch vehicle Mark III project and also the Chandrayaan-2 mission. So I was thinking that Mr. Shivan will get that opportunity to look into the Gaganyaan, but I think now it is in the laps of Mr. Somnath. Good luck to him. Sitting just in front of the very famous picture of Nazis' surrender to India, India's army chief, General M.M. Naravane, had said that if India is pushed towards war, it will come out victorious. Well, he was addressing when asked about the 14th round of Corps Commanders talks going on between China and India. We all know that there have been a round of talks going on again constantly, and the Corps Commanders talks are now on the 14th round. And but however, a statement which generally India is not used to giving such statements in previous about decade back, now openly is committing itself to protect its sovereignty. Yet another success story from the DRDO this week. DRDO successfully tested a man-portable anti-tank guided missile, and this is an indigenously developed missile with a low weight so that it can be carried very easily by the soldiers. It is a fire and forget type of a missile, and it's launched from a portable launcher. It is integrated with a thermal sight which helps it to home on to the thermal difference by the enemy equipment. So it homes on to anything which is hotter when compared to the surroundings, and probably it will take its guidance and destroy the object. The Union Minister, Mr. Rajnath Singh, had congratulated the DRDO for this achievement, and I think it's a real good thing. From last about 4 months, we have been constantly hearing that there is a tension between Ukrainian government and the Russian government, which is they were both on the brink of having a war. But now this week we saw about 70 government websites in Ukraine had underwent a massive cyber attack, and all the sites of the Ukrainian government went down, and a warning appeared like, be afraid and expect the worst. Well, the Ukrainian government has outrightly alleged that Russia has been behind the similar attacks in past and also in the present, and well, this will be the order of the future. Probably the hand-to-hand combats or hand-to-hand fights might go down before before such kind of attacks happen, wherein you cripple the entire working system of a country, and then probably you will launch a full-fledged war. Russia has not commented on this yet, but we also understand that something like this is happening. Indian naval ship Shivalik and Indian naval ship Kadmat took part in a joint exercise with the Japanese Maritime Self-Defense Forces as a maritime partnerships exercise in the Bay of Bengal this week. A wide range of maritime operations, including the tactical maneuvers and interoperability, were checked between two navies, and it was a successful exercise. The exercise was basically conducted in a non-contact mode so as to maintain the COVID-19 safety norms. We all probably did not even come out of the tragic accident of our Chief of Defence Staff, General Rawat. The preliminary inquiry into the crash has found out that the IAF helicopter, that is Me-7, had probably crashed because of an accident, which resulted due to pilot's spatial disorientation as a sudden change of weather took place and the helicopter entered into a cloud, thereby leading to a kind of a whiteout, which the pilots could not probably gauge the narrow valley, and it landed up onto one of the small hillocks, and thereby leading to the crash of the helicopter. A crucial step has been taken in India towards the motor vehicular safety. That is, the government of India has now made that 6 airbags will be compulsory on all Indian vehicles, which has the capacity to carry up till 8 people, and this will probably minimize the impact of the frontal and the lateral collisions. And probably 4 additional airbags will be mandated in the M1 vehicle category, that is 2 by side and 2 by torso airbags, and 2 side curtain oblique tube airbags. Well, this is a good step. India is with the infrastructure moving up well, the roads are becoming better, the average speed on which an Indian citizen used to travel in his car is increasing. Therefore, it is very much essential that the newer systems to safeguard the passengers is a must. So this is a very good step, and hope it will soon take its shape. Indian Army on 15th had unveiled a new combat uniform during the Army Day parade in Delhi cantonment. We could see in one of the TV grabs that the commandos of the parachute regiment were marching with the new uniform, and it is called as a digital camouflage, or also called as a universal camouflage. This is similar to the ones which are used by the American forces. This camouflage pattern has been created by the NIFT, National Institute of Fashion Technology, and is likely to be introduced by August 2022. The speciality of this uniform is that it is more user friendly, it is I think more reliable and better in camouflage for all kinds of terrain. Let's see how is it rolling it out. A study in a nutrient journal found out that eating dried goji beers, name is goji berries. This will help in preventing the AMD, that is the age-related macular degeneration, which causes loss of vision in older people. So a study has revealed that about 13 healthy middle-aged people consumed of about 28 grams of goji berries 5 times a week for about 3 months, and it was found that it increased the density of protective pigments in their eyes. So good news, you probably have to Google what is goji berries and see what is availability, but as far as I know, it grows mostly in Leh Ladakh area and also the parts of China. So goji berry is the next one which you should know. It increases the lutein and the zeaxanthin in the eyes. These acts as a sunscreen for your eyes. Probably that's why it helps you to recover from the AMD. A very, I must say, a superb achievement for India is that India gets its first Brahmos missile order worth about $374 million from Philippines. India has been traditionally a weapons importer. Now, slowly, ever since the Atmanirbhar started, India started exporting its weapons, arms and ammunition to the other country. But this deal has of sending 3 batteries of Brahmos supersonic missile jointly developed by India and Russia worth about $375 million is one of the first and the major military exports by India. And a proposal to this effect has already been signed by the government of Philippines and also the government of India. And Philippines government is likely to use this as a shore-based anti-ship missile for its navy. January 16, that is tomorrow, as you will be listening to this, the Prime Minister Narendra Modi has declared that January 16 henceforth will be celebrated as National Startup Day. And as per him, he feels that startups are going to be the backbone of new India. And he says by the time India completes 100 years of independence, startups will have an extremely important role. We all agree. We have seen some huge startups this time, even in the COVID times. And that is what makes a country from developing to developed. We all know that India celebrates 15th January as the Army Day. But why does India celebrate Army Day on this day? Well, it is to not only honor the soldiers of our country, but also on this day in 1949, Field Marshal Cariappa became the first Indian to be appointed as the Commander-in-Chief of the Indian Armed Forces. He took over from General Sir Francis Robert Roy Butcher. Therefore, from that day, we consider that army coming into the hands of a proud Indian. That's the reason we celebrate 15th January as the Army Day in India. And finally, a very surprising news coming in from Pakistan, wherein Pakistan says that Pakistan does not want to fight with India, or Pakistan does not want a war with India for next 100 years, and it will work towards it. This was rather revealed when Pakistan launched the country's first ever National Security Policy NSP this week. And it is about a 100-page document, out of which almost about 60 pages are confidential, about 30 to 40 pages are being made public, and we will have to wait and watch on this. However, my next video, which will be launched in another 2 to 3 days, will be on the very same topic, wherein I will analyze as to what are there in this 100-page or the rather 40-page document of National Security Policy of Pakistan, and how much does it affect India. So please be on a lookout for it, and thank you so much for staying with me on this weekend updates. Please, if you feel that there is someone taking any kind of examination and one who needs to be abreast with the general knowledge for any kind of entrance examination or probably any kind of an interview for job, please, this is a channel to be there, and help me spread this news. And please, as I request you all the time, if you are new to my channel and if you are hearing me for the first time, please press that bell icon and also subscribe to my channel. Thank you so much. Stay home, stay safe.